Hi, everyone. We have author Lakisha Johnson here, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
As you stated, my name is Lakisha Johnson. I'm originally born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I currently reside in Olive Branch, Mississippi, which is right across the state line in Memphis. I've been writing for over 8 years. I just released my 26th book. I also have some devotionals and some journals. Um, I'm married. I've been married 22 years, have two children, an ordained minister. And for me, writing is part of my ministry. So I write Christian fiction. I also have devotionals and journals as well. And what you see from me is what you get.
Welcome and thanks for joining. Yeah, so you said 26 books. Wow. So we would
Yes.
need a lot of time if we was going.
Yeah.
So what was your
Yes.
first published book?
My first published book was actually like a romance erotica type book. It was called A Secret Worth Keeping. I released that in 2012. I had that under a publisher. I've since got those rights back, and in 2019, I redid those series and I flipped them into a Christian fiction series called When the Vows Break, because I started writing Christian fiction fully in 2018. Okay. So when I got those rights back, I ended up changing those books to Christian fiction. So it went from A Secret Worth Keeping to When the Vows Break.
And you're self-published now?
I am.
Congratulations. How was that journey?
It's actually been good. You had some highs and some lows. You're learning every day, but it's actually been a great experience overall. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Okay, and tell us about your new book.
My new book, the one, I just released a book a couple days ago called Another Chance. But this particular book that we're going to talk about tonight is called Infidelity. So it was the one before that. And it's a Christian suspense book dealing with what the title says, infidelity. A young lady was she had everything planned, and she wanted a baby. And so she took matters into her own hand, met this gentleman. And what her plan was to, get pregnant and then, go off into the sunset and raise this baby, but things didn't work out that way.
Okay.
So it's a suspense. So yes, there's a little bit of stalking, murder, all those things to let you know that sometimes we can change plans and always go as we think as they think they should.
Mm-hmm. And do you have the book with you?
I do. This is the cover.
Nice. Okay. And how did you come up with the cover?
Actually, I have a graphic designer, and she handles all my cover work. That's one thing I do not have is that artistic eye. I can voice what I want, but I can't do anything as far as putting together. So I usually send her the synopsis, let her know a little bit about the book, and let her go from there. And so she created it, and I think she knocked it out the park. And I've been using her now for just about every cover except one. Wow. So she and I have been working together, and she normally knocks it out the park every time. And for this one, she did the same thing.
Yeah, I like that cover.
Thank you.
Now, 22 books. How long does it usually take you to finish a book?
It depends. With Infidelity, I think it probably took like 45 days to do Infidelity. Sometimes it can take 30 days. Sometimes it can take longer. It just depends. In the midst of writing Infidelity, there was a death in the family, so I had to take some time. But it's usually if I'm flowing good, it usually can take 30 days.
That's good. You say 30 days like it's 3 years. I know people that take two years or more.
I know, people always say you release books fast, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't release fast enough. 2018, I released, I think, like 6 or 8 books. But God had me releasing them like every 45 days. And then, 2019, it wasn't as many, but it still didn't feel like it was fast enough for me. And people were like, you release some books back to back. And I'm like, I don't think it's fast enough, you know, for me. But I try to put space in between to give people time to read. I don't like to put books out back to back to back without giving people a chance to read, and at least to read the book. So I try to space them out.
Tell us where we can purchase your books.
You can purchase them on Amazon. All my books are on Amazon. That's generally the only place I normally have them. Other than if you reach out to me directly for paperbacks, I normally try to keep paperbacks on hand, or you can always order those from Amazon too. But people will reach out to me via my website, which is authorlakishajohnson.com, or directly in inbox, or a message on Instagram or whatever. So I try to keep paperbacks on hand that if anybody wants to order those, they could order from me. But generally, you can find everything on on Amazon.
Okay. Are all of your books standalones, or are some of them series?
I have 2 series, but the majority of them are standalone. The series is When the Vows Breaks, and then from that series came Shattered. So there's a total of 6 books in that particular series.
Okay.
But generally I do standalones. I don't like to do series because I don't like waiting for part 2 and 3 of books.
Mm-hmm.
So generally you will find that all of my books are standalone, unless I do an update to it. Then I may release one book that I released in 2016. I did an update to it, so I just did a quick ebook release.
Okay.
Because everybody was asking, you know, what happened to this character, what happened to this character. So I would sometimes do that, but generally all of them are all standalones.
Okay. And out of all of your books, who's your favorite character?
I think from my book, The Family That Lies, that I wrote with my twin sister. So I think they would be my favorite characters. It was sisters that were 18 months apart. Their name was Grace and Mercy. So I think they are my favorite characters.
Okay. And tell us your social media handles.
Most of my social media handles are Keisha Johnson, Kisha Johnson. That's Instagram. Facebook is Keisha Johnson. Snapchat and TikTok are Author Lakisha.
Okay.
And Twitter is also Keisha Johnson. So mostly everything will be the same outside of just TikTok and Snapchat.
Okay. And what do you hope readers take away from reading your book?
For me, again, writing is part of my ministry. So I tell anybody who read my book that I try to get them to God by any means necessary. So with any of my books you will read about brokenness, divorce, death, grief, all those things, but it always sends us back to God. That there's always hope, no matter what you're going through. There's always hope in what you find. Even in the infidelity, this is a Christian suspense, it has God throughout it too. So all my books have scriptures, prayers, Bible studies, sermons, you know, all those things, because I want readers to know that there's hope in every situation.
Okay. And is there anything else that you would like to tell us about your books?
Just be in for a realistic time. You know, most of my Christian fiction books are not what people would consider clean Christian. So because I write realistically, so you may have cursing, you may have sex, not vulgar, but but you may have those things because sometimes you have a person who's struggling with their Christianity or with their walk with God or with their brokenness. Like in the Shattered series, it's the same, because it was dealing with Camille, who was trying to find her way. Back to, she knew God, she loved God, she trusted God, but somewhere along the way she got lost. And in the pastor's admin, it's dealing with the admin of a pastor who was doing any and everything but what he was supposed to do. So that book has, some of everything, because it deals with domestic violence, it deals with him, being unfaithful to his wife. So it deals with all those things. So anytime you read a book by me, it's going to be realistic. And I tell people all the time that it's not what a clean version of Christian fiction that people look for, because I write realistically.
Okay.
So that's all I would have them to look for.
That's good. That's good. Nobody's perfect, right? And that's
absolutely,
yes, everyday life. Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and are you a reader as well?
I do. I love reading. Usually after I release a book, I spend that downtime reading. I love reading all types of genres. It doesn't matter the author or I love good books. And if the book intrigues me, then I read it. So whether it be suspense, Christian, erotica, women's fiction, whatever it is, I like to read. So yeah, I do. I'm a reader and an author. So.
Okay. Well, thank you and congratulations. I wish you much continued success.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. That was author Lakisha Johnson telling us about her books. Make sure you go out and purchase a copy.